What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good morning. And blessings to all. How y'all all doing? It's your boy Hollywood here. If you're wondering why I have my camera and I'm looking real weird and I don't got my shirt on, it's because, man, I'm just icing my knee, getting ready for the day. Well, not icing my knee, icing my calf. Let me see if I can show y'all. Yeah. I'm icing my calf. You know what happens, man, when you train hard. That's what happens. Yeah, so while I'm icing it, I figure I'll talk to you guys, see what's going on. Hope y'all all having a good morning. Uh, Starting off the day right. I hope, of course, some of y'all guys going to work or whatever. 7 o'clock in the morning out here, cloudy. And if you want to know where out here is, New York. Yeah, my daughter should be getting up soon to go to work. Excuse me. So once I take her to school, and all those good stuff, all those good things, then probably come back and do some work. I'll upload the episode from yesterday, Talk Show Tuesday, episode 4. I had Haley on it again to kick off our 1 month anniversary. Sometimes those little milestones you need to celebrate. It might be small, but it's it's a little bit farther from where we were. You know what I'm saying? Started off with a dream, and I've been consistent, so I thought it was something to celebrate. So I had her back on. She was my first guest, so I had her on again for this one, and so far so good, man. But what's going on with everybody else out here? For all of y'all lurking and everything like that, I appreciate it. Appreciate the love. So what's going on right now in the world? I know, as it says, we're going to talk about the Serena Williams thing. That was interesting, to say the least. Very interesting and very I want to say I'm surprised, but then I'm not surprised. And here's why I say that. I'm surprised at how far she took it. I'm not surprised at where she took it. And the reason why I'm surprised at how far she took it is because, she's a champion. She, at first, and let me dial it back a second before I continue. I want to explain and showcase and highlight and want everybody to understand that I believe Serena Williams is the best female tennis player that has ever played the game. With that being said, now, like I said, I want to say that I'm surprised. And the reason why I was surprised is because of that. Because she's the best female tennis player that I've ever seen. And I'm pretty sure that's the consensus for a lot of people. I'm very, very surprised at how far she took that. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've competed at the level she's competed at, but I have competed. As most of you guys know, my background of martial arts. I started off with Taekwondo. So I've competed all across the country. And I've gone as far as to do the Junior Olympics for Taekwondo, and never once. And to be fair, I guess I was younger. I didn't really, I didn't really see certain things, like racism and sexism, and I wasn't really, I didn't really know, or I never was exposed to it as much as as I am now in my later years, and as as she is in her later years, being a role model and whatnot. But I've never in my years took it that far with a referee. And even as I got into my later years, you kind of gain that knowledge or that understanding that, look, these guys control your future. The future of your game, these guys control it. That's their job. My job is to get out there and play the game the best way that I can. you know, and seeing her take it as far as she did, you know, that's not champions mentality, you know. And then she wanted to make it bigger than herself. This is where I'm not surprised because she wanted to make it bigger than herself. She wanted to make it as big as possible and as well known as possible. Um, she wanted to say that um, she was doing it for her child. She was doing it for the next woman that comes up. Trying to pave the way for her. And come on, like, like I said, that now you're reaching. In my opinion, you're reaching. Because again, what speaks more volumes? Playing the game, understanding the position of the game, understanding the roles, having respect for authority, and then after the game, you do what you got to do. You complain as much as possible. You make it as big as possible, and you cite your opinion as then. But when it comes to the confines of the game are very straightforward. There's rules. You disobey the rules. You get punished. That's in everything. Not only am I a martial artist. I also play Street Fighter. I played it competitively. There's rules to the game. That's it. That, and that's it. Anything outside of that, that's when it's very clear on what happens. And it's she knows the rules. She's been doing it for way too long. There's no excuse to taking it that far. Even I can understand if she wanted to take it at least far enough to get a penalty. You break your racket. You show how disgusted you are and how frustrated you are with what is okay. But to keep it going, I mean, it was, I to be honest, I don't blame the the ref, or I don't know what they call it in terms of tennis, but I don't blame him. At some point now if it was me, well, if it was me, this probably wouldn't happen. Let's be straight up, because I'm very well versed at de-escalation. I try to make it so everybody's cool, chill, and it also seemed like he wasn't skilled at de-escalation. But I mean, dude, we're all human. I would feel super disrespected and super threatened, and not threatened in a physical sense. She yelled to him saying, "You'll never work in another game that I play again." You're threatening the man's livelihood. And Serena Williams, I mean, let's not be ignorant here. She has, stroke. She has power. She's been doing it for so long. She, has some kind of influence. Now, does she have the influence to, get him barred from any of her games, or, get him fired? Who knows? But, to put, we don't know what he's feeling. Nobody's interviewing him. I haven't seen an interview with him yet. And I don't know if there is any out there. I actually do. Actually, I'm gonna do some research on that, and I'll probably do another live video or something like that to that extent. But you're threatening the man's livelihood. And see, this is a very interesting and puzzling dynamic that's been here since probably the beginning of time. The dynamic between a man and a woman in a situation where it's a confrontation. What is the man supposed to do? Now, let's look at this outside of the confines of tennis, right? Let's say you're in an altercation with a woman. Excuse me, Super Pine. Thank you for the host. Thank you for the host, man. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a beautiful morning. Be a beautiful day. Let's look at the like I said, let's take it out of the tennis um, stratosphere, right? And let's say there's a conversation between a man and a woman, right? Let's say you have a disagreement, whatever it may be, and whether it's you, whether it's the woman, you usually, and let's be honest, a woman is going to be a lot more emotional, and emotion brings out, very either loud crying, um, whatever. But just so that I don't sound like like ignorant. Okay, let's say one or the other, someone gets loud or they feel a certain type of way about what's going on within the disagreement. The woman is escalating it more and more and more and more, or it's escalating more and more and more, and the woman is exacerbating it. Let's just say, what is the man supposed to do, right? He turns away. Let's say he walks away. He doesn't say anything. He just walks away. He loses. Let's say he continues. He still loses. Where is the point in where a man can have an argument, a disagreement with a woman, and it being looked up is not looked frowningly upon on the man's side? For instance, I know this may be a little bit unclear, so I'm going to put this in terms of a man and a man. If a man and a man have a disagreement and it's starting to escalate, we know at a certain point. Yeah, good morning. I'm doing something, so that was my daughter. She was coming in. Hey, good morning. Right, like I was saying, as a man and a man, when a man and a man have a disagreement, or even when a woman and a woman have a disagreement, you understand when it's gonna move up to a certain level. So, for instance, let's say we have a disagreement, we're arguing, it's loud, it's getting louder. Maybe someone is starting to get a little bit closer. You notice when someone is getting more agitated. We know that at a certain point, if he puts his hands on me, we know it's time to fight. Like we know when it goes down. It's very clear on the dynamic on escalation between a man and a man. We understand that if one person does something to that extent, we know it's time. Like, okay, now it's not talking anymore. It's time to fight. But when it becomes and the same thing with women. When it's a man and a woman, that's not set in stone. Like if a woman puts her hands on me, or if a woman threatens me, what do you do? What is the right course of action? There is none, because no matter what, we still look to be the bad guys. And this is this example with Serena and this referee is very reminiscent of that, because what is he to do? He and I'm just speculating again. I don't know what he's feeling. I'm just going off of like I said, speculation or how it can be seen. But he's a man. He's getting berated by this woman, this player that should have respect for the chain of command. She's not. Okay. The rules clearly state something. He sees it. He catches it. And not to mention, after the fact, after everything is done, the coach admits that he's coaching her. So, that's another story in itself. But, she's berating and telling him that he needs to apologize to her, telling him that he robbed her, telling him that he'll never work in another game of hers again. All of these things, like, she's escalating. She's breaking sticks. It's a clear disrespect of his authority. It's like you're egging him to do it, to hit you with these penalties. He hits you with the penalties, and he's still the bad guy. And he still looked, how can he do this in a finals? And what is he supposed to do? It's funny that everybody is, he shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have done this. But what should he have done? What was the course of action? Again, I understand that he didn't de-escalate. Very true. But then again, some would say that him penalizing her is de-escalation. Like he doesn't have to, like when I look back, I don't see anyone out of the two participants um, in this confrontation really self showing any kind of self realization on what they should have done differently, what they could have done better. I did hear that the referee did say he didn't de-escalate. Again, he could have, told her that he doesn't feel that she's cheating, that but the coach was cheating, and this is why I'm docking you. It could have worked, but it could have not have worked. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? He didn't do it, but that's one small thing on top of a bigger issue, right? Like when you want to say de-escalation, de-escalation is actually the penalty. That's what's supposed to de-escalate the situation. And as someone that plays sports, and as for someone that's played sports as long as she has on the big stage, she should know that. She should know better than that. When she wants to say she's setting an example for her child. Listen, I'm a single parent. For those of y'all who don't know, I'm a single parent, and my daughter lives with me. And I try to set the best example as a man and as a parent that I can. I would have never done that. I would have never done that. And it's easy for me to say from sitting at the outside looking in, but there's just certain things that you don't do. I live my life based on how my daughter is going to look at me. Everything that I do, I try to do the best that I can, because I want my daughter to say, I don't want my daughter to ever say, well, Dad, damn, why did you do that? And look, and frown upon me for a mistake or for something that I did that wasn't, the best that I could have done. I try to live the best way and with the best example. And she wanted to say that she did it for her, she did it for young women. That's not the way to go about it, and she should know better than that. There's no, it's a game, and the game's rules are set in stone. Yes, some people bend the rules. The quick jump to, if it was a man, you wouldn't have done this. You can't compare this situation to anything that a man has ever done. Yeah, he may have. It's no comparison, because it escalated too far. She escalated it way too far. No man has ever done that. A lot of people want to say, oh, LeBron James. Nobody would ever throw LeBron James out of a finals for his conduct. LeBron James' conduct has never ever been to that extent. LeBron James has been upset. LeBron James has been, but LeBron James know damn well that he would never put his team in jeopardy by for him to get ejected in a finals. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anybody says. Anybody can make any kind of, but LeBron James is the GOAT. LeBron James knows his value to the team. You would never see that from LeBron James. You would never see that from any all-star player, because they know if they're gone, if they're ejected, if they get penalized to the extent where they're not there for their team, it's their fault. And that's what I'm not hearing. I'm not hearing from the GOAT of women's tennis, it's her fault, because it's always your fault. And that's something that a lot of people can learn. It's always, I live my life by, it's always my fault. It's always my fault. And maybe that's to a fault, but I always think things are my fault, because I want to, I always try to see a different route that I could have taken, something different that I could have done, to make the situation better. Because if I don't, and it's a slippery slope. You always, if you don't own it, then it's everybody else's fault. It is very easy to cast blame and not make yourself better. And I'm all about trying to make myself better. Always try to see other people's point of views. Um, but yeah, that and I didn't see any of that there. She didn't act like the goat. That's not goat man. That's not goat. That's not goat mentality. That's not how, that's not how goats um play a sport. You know what I mean? She could have done way better than that. A lot better than that. And it's interesting. I like how a lot of people ask her that question. What would you tell your daughter right now about this? And put her in that spot because what would you tell her if she looked back? If she looked back and saw like, damn, mom, you wild, you was bugging out right there. Like what happened? Like what were you thinking? And it's just it's so interesting how she wanted to defend that kind of behavior. Like that's and again, I wanna step back. I hope you know this may sound like I'm bashing her. Um, uh, that I'm not on her side. Um, it's not really about sides here, and it's not really. I'm not really on anyone's side, but I'm putting out an opinion that I don't think is being heard enough. Um, and how how I feel like this type of opinion should be heard because for anyone's personal growth, if anyone wants to become a champion, you want to have a champion's mentality. That's not it. And I think she should admit that, and maybe she will, after a couple of weeks, after she calms down, you know, especially when it's a one-on-one confrontation with somebody, you can't really make excuses. That's another thing where a lot of people don't understand. In a team game like basketball, football, you can blame other teammates. For instance, how everybody wants to always blame LeBron James' team for not winning, even though that's very, very, very true. Because it's not a team, it's not a solo game. But LeBron James is a very key part of his team, and when he loses, you know, and they look at his stats, he did so well. It's always, well, damn, if somebody would have helped him, somebody would have. So when it's a solo sport, you can't blame anybody, and this is a perfect opportunity for Serena Williams to blame someone else. And I'm glad people are saying no. I forget her name. I know her last name is Osaka. I'm sorry for her first name, but first of all, she's a very beautiful young woman. Very, she acted like a champion. She was very reserved. I think it's because of the culture. I think she was raised in Japan. So the culture is very reserved. And she just every time they asked her, did you even know what was going on? She said, no, I was just focusing on the game. Anytime you talk to her, she's very reserved. She's just like, I was out there to do a job, and that's a champion's mentality. Someone that's young, very young age. Like, look, I'm not letting all this other stuff get to me. All this hoopla that's going around. Like, I'm trying to get the dub. I'm trying to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you got to do it. People get very, very, very salty, and they don't know what to do, and they want to blame the world. And in a one-on-one sport, is magnified because no matter what anybody can say, it's your fault. It's your fault. If you lose one-on-one to someone, it's your fault. And a lot of people still try to find reasons to cast blame on someone else or on something else, or some outside interference or something like that. And that's what that I mean, I'm not saying that that's what it is 100%. From what I saw, she was giving her the business. And that win is tainted because of that. The best way that I could explain it is if you're playing, again, like I said, I used to play Street Fighter competitively. I still watch it to this day. It's like if you're in the top, in the best, in the top stage of the world, which is Evo. And I don't care what nobody say. Evo's the creme de la creme of fighting games. If you on that stage for a finals, a championship, grand finals, that's the pinnacle for that field. You on the Evo stage, grand finals. You fighting against a Tokido or something like that, and a stick malfunction happens. You lose the round, and then the next round, let's just say for instance you lose or something. Everybody's always gonna say, "Oh, damn! Well, if that stick malfunction didn't happen, or whatever, 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 it probably could have been different." But at the end of the day, it's still a one-on-one. You didn't have to lose that round. You know what I'm saying? So people like to, like I said, in a one-on-one game, people like to do that. They like to um try and blame outside forces, but you really can't. It doesn't really sound good on you. At the end of the day, it's one-on-one. You didn't have to lose. You didn't have to lose that point. There was always something that you could have done different at every single minute of every single point that was scored or not scored, or there's always a point um you know that you could have done differently and that you could have won. So it sucks that had to happen, because a true champion, well, Serena Williams is a champion, but that night, not only did the young lovely Miss Osaka become a champion, she acted like a champion. Like, she embodied what a champion is, that at that moment, right then and there. And it seems so fitting to see her win the championship the way she did, because she just didn't win it on her skill. She won it on her mind. She had a champion's mentality through and through the whole event. Everything about her oozed, champion. And I encourage a lot of you to see it. I encourage a lot of you to form your own opinions. Do your own research. Just a little side caveat. A lot of people were looking at the referee's history, and it's been shown that he has, I guess, quote unquote, targeted the Williams sisters throughout his history with them. Look at the research yourself, and you come up with your own decisions on that. I mean, like I said, to me, at the end of the day, it's ownership, man. You got to take ownership. You got to own it. I could sit here and say, that the world is against me because I'm a man of color, and to some extent that is true. But I don't sit around, blaming that all the time. You got to make some kind of move sometime, and I'm not saying that that's what she does, but I think it's where the stage, it's just in that big of a stage. That's the time that you choose to do that. It's just it's so interesting, and so I don't know. It's just very interesting that she chose that time to take all that, take that cat out the bag. Take that, roll that sexism card right then and there, and you know, uh, who knows? I don't know his how he feels about women and men. That's his beliefs, but have some. You'll have more ammo if he was bending the rules to give you a point, or to deduct a point, but you don't really have any wiggle room when you are clearly in violation. His own bosses didn't want to revert his decisions because they were to the letter of the law. It's like, you what ammo do you have? You really don't have anything to go on, but your speculations, and but the history of what of this man with you. Maybe I could sit here and say, well, maybe those times you deserved it as well. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you guys. I mean, like I said, do your own research. This is, I'm just, you know, um, speaking to what I've been hearing as this story unfolds about him and I hit in his history, and but at the end of the day, and I want to leave off with this before I head out and take my daughter to school and things like that. At the end of the day, it's your fault. At the end of the day, it's your fault. In the confines of a game, and almost in anything in life, again, you gotta take ownership. You gotta own that. She broke the rules. First, it was her coach that broke the rules. Then after that, she broke the rules. She might have broken the rules because of something that her coach did. She should have not let that get to her. Ownership. I could be upset and say, yo, like that's messed up. What's going on? And again, I'm not. She's human. Sometimes things explode. No, I don't know what else she's going. What else pressure she's under, or in her personal life. But when it's in the confines of the game, when you go to work and you start a job, what do they always tell you? Don't bring that to work. Don't bring that to your job. Leave that outside. They always tell you that. That's one of the most one of the top phrases when you go to work for people that have something going on or something negative going on. Don't bring that to work. Leave that outside. And it's the same thing here. You can't bring that stuff to a game. All that stuff don't matter. Nobody's trying to hear that. That's a you thing that you need to internalize. Wait for your platform, your own platform, to speak upon whatever's going on. However sexist or whatever you feel that this man is, that's not the platform to do it on. But you chose to make that. You chose to make it your time to speak out on that. And no matter what anybody says, that wasn't the right time. You know, and I mean, and it just added extra reason why she lost. Um, there's nothing really else to say. So you got to take ownership. It's not nobody else's fault but your own. And that's to anybody in any situation. Look for the reasons that is your fault, not that at the millions and billions of reasons that is somebody else's fault. Uh, and you'll grow. Hopefully, she'll grow from this. Hopefully, I think it would be amazing if she apologized and he apologized to her. I think that's where this should go. It was a mistake. It ruined a great tournament that happens every year. Like people said, they've never seen something like that before, and they should have not seen it. And I think that would be a great way to turn this around, and show growth. Because we're all still human. We all have room for growth. We are not perfect. She made a mistake, but people got to own it. And I think if she steps up and owns it, kudos to her. Hopefully she shows why she's the GOAT, why she's a champion, and she'll take it to that step. Take it to apologize. Not saying that what she's saying about sexism is not true. That wasn't the place to do. Post game, the next week, if you want to have, throw out a little tweet or something like that, throw that out there when it comes to the confines of the game. That's not the time. That's not the time for politics and all of that stuff. It's time to play. When you're playing whatever game you're playing, when you're in whatever competition you're in, politics, personal opinions, that all of that got to go out the window. All we want to see is the game. We want to see athleticism. We want to see mindsets of a champion. We want to see heated rivalries form. We want to see everything that the game has to offer. Outside influences, we don't want none of that. We don't want temper tantrums and and arguments with officials and stuff like that. How much time that took off from the game. Just for that, for that. You know, um, we don't need to see that. As a sportsman, we don't. As a person that loves sports, has been in sports for most of his life, I don't want to see that. You know, and I know people don't want to see that. Look how much money people spent to go check that, and that's what they get. That's what they see. It's unfortunate. Unfortunate. But yeah. Appreciate all y'all coming through. I'm gonna start heading out to take my daughter to school, getting ready and doing all that. I'm going to be putting up the podcast from last night, episode 4. It'll be up by midday today. It'll be up on YouTube, SoundCloud, and YouTube and SoundCloud. Yeah, and hope you enjoy. Hope you have a beautiful, blessed morning, and I will see you guys later on today. Once I'm done with everything, I'm gonna try to get in. Some boxing today. Like I said, my calf is still messed up. Still icing it up here, so I'm gonna try to stretch it out, and I'm gonna try to just go light. In the gym, and we'll go from there. We'll see how it works. But all right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Blessings and blessings. Hit that follow. Hit that so that you guys know when I'm jumping on. It's greatly appreciated. It helps me. You guys can like the content to continue to produce content. I don't ask for any money or anything like that, but it is my time that I take to spread love and education and things like that to you guys. So that helps to continue to spread that love and knowledge with follows and things of that nature, views, and hitting up my other social media sites, following the SoundCloud, following the YouTube. If you, like I said, if you like it, then please hit that up. But all right, guys, blessings, and I'll see y'all later.